Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, welcome to another spooky mini episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's thirsty with me tonight?
The name's Cole McGrath, and we do not do blah, blah, blah. Hi, it's Lionheart again. It's Emanuel. Whatever you want to call me.
Welcome back, Emanuel.
Yes, I'm back.
And where can people find you at?
Well, well, sometimes maybe at twitch.tv/Commander Lionheart and youtube.com/Commander Lionheart. Sometimes, maybe.
Well, plus there's all your archives of stuff over there from past.
Yeah. I mean, at least on YouTube. Twitch, it definitely goes away, but
YouTube doesn't. And hey, I can speak for a fact. Some people will scroll through YouTube and watch old videos because I do all the time. I've been watching some old YouTube shows of like this documentary type stuff on games. I'm like, all right. So
yeah, I still go back to watch like the old Super Replays and some other old stuff whenever I'm like feeling nostalgic.
I don't. I've been obsessed with Top Hat Gaming for some reason.
Okay.
The guy with the top hat that talks about fighting games and beat 'em ups a lot.
I have no idea who that is, but
he has a lot of followers.
Sounds like a dapper gentleman.
It's pretty funny, yes. But so we are here to talk about a game DLC. I don't know what I would consider. It's considered DLC, but in my opinion, it's not DLC because it's its own game.
It's a standalone, I guess, but I don't know, man.
I think it's more of just like a short game.
What is Undead Nightmare, like Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, considered? Is it also considered a DLC?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
but it's from that same era, but it's much longer from what I remember. So we're here to talk about Infamous Festival of Blood, which came out in 2011 as a DLC or standalone game. That uses the Infamous 2 engine, but I kind of consider it its own thing. Okay, Undead Nightmare 7 hours. This was 2 hours on how long to beat.
Oh damn! See, I never played Undead Nightmare, so I don't know. I didn't know how long that was.
I haven't yet, but I'm going to be for a spooky episode that you will see at some point around this.
Okay.
Gonna finally do it. I mean, I had actually played this a long time ago because I don't think I bought it separately. I bought a collection of Infamous 1, 2, and this for like dirt cheap at one point.
Yeah, same.
From GameFly. And then I redeemed the code, so that's how I got it. And I actually had to hook up my plug in my PS3 to play it on there because that's not the only way to play it, but I wasn't gonna sign up for PS Plus.
It's not the only way, but it's probably the better way because the way that I played it was through the PlayStation Plus premium streaming service thing of the PS3 games, and it's oh boy.
That's the only way to play it currently. If you don't have it
with current systems like PS5 and PS4, yes.
And you can't even I thought, okay, maybe I can play it on PS4. Like I can go find my copy of it, and just download it. But nope, it isn't there.
No.
And I feel like they probably could have put it there, but they did not choose.
They could have. I don't know, man. I remember when Marvel's Spider-Man was coming out that there were rumors of the Infamous collection coming to PS4, and that never happened. And then a year ago, 2 years ago, Sucker Punch was made a statement of neither us nor anyone else is currently working on ports or new games for the Sly Cooper or Infamous franchises, and that just was like, ugh.
I don't know why they don't I
don't understand why either.
Ported in a collection. Infamous 1, 2, and Festival of Blood should be there just because the man will have that one too. They should be on current day because these are still good games.
Yes.
I mean, so when I first played this, I played it a couple years ago before the podcast, probably a year before the podcast, let's say, 5-6 years ago. And I was just going through stuff in my PS3 and I happened to have this. And it was quick. It was something I played one night while my wife was at work, working a night shift, and I was home and I just ran through this in 2 hours probably. Mm-hmm. Which is what I did last night again.
Yeah.
But I was rushed to play it last night. I'm like, we record tonight and I got to finish it. But it's okay.
I started it earlier in the week and I finished it last night. I was slowly going through it, even though it was 2 hours. The problem is that because it was with the streaming service thing, if your internet, even if you have good internet, sometimes the thing is just going to drop. And I had that happen to me, and I was like, ooh.
That would suck.
And the problem with, I'm going to get into the problem with this game, which correlates to the other games as well, is that if you're in the middle of a mission, and even if you hit save game, if you quit the game, once you come back, you got to start the mission all over again. So
yeah, because it doesn't save. It like checkpoints, but that's it.
Yeah, it's like...
and some of the missions aren't a lot of missions in this game. I mean, so essentially what this game is it take one of the districts of Numerai, which is the city in Infamous 2, and it puts a vampire spin on it, where they recycled assets, made new assets. Maybe you fight vampires, you're not fighting conduits, and throw like this game together.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
That was a thing at the time too, which I don't mind. I don't mind when DLC was coming out and they would do stuff like that. Like that's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
But this, I didn't like. I feel like I enjoyed this more when I played it years ago. I also had not touched Infamous 2 at the time. Where now I have played Infamous 2 earlier this year, but I did not remember the controls for Infamous 2, and this game does not really tell you anything. Because you just played 2. You already know the controls.
Exactly. Like again, that's why I think that this is like DLC, because it expects you to have obviously beaten the game and all that, and
Yeah, it could just be the time too of just like. I think we were just starting to get DLC like this. It was like
it was 2011, so it was like at the start of the whole DLC thing, I think.
Yeah, it would have been around there. Yeah, the first DLC is always Horse Armor, Death Hunt. This is more like DLC expansion packs type of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what PC was doing for years.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like World of Warcraft always had like the expansions and all that stuff. Like, I guess that this is considered like an expansion to the established game. Except,
it would be. Yeah, it would fall on. It would have felt if it had been a PC game, it would have fell in that category of an expansion.
I think
just not a very good one.
So here's the deal, because Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty is not a DLC. It is a standalone game, but it does take roughly around the same time. And I don't know. I think that's kind of what this is as well. Except this is more DLC because it does use or reuse pretty much all the assets.
Yeah, but it's different. But when you make a standalone, DLC is more, in my opinion, something that you need to have the original game to play, and it adds to it. Like this is something that you could have just bought by itself. You don't need to have Infamous 2.
Yeah. This was sold separately. You didn't have to.
No, this was an impulse thing. This was like, we'll sell for $10. It released. I'm assuming it released around around Halloween time. Yeah, October 25th. So yeah, you're cashing in on the whole like people are excited for Halloween and here's a new game to play.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad. It was hard for me to remember like how to play Infamous because we done 2. Like it's been months since we did 2.
Yeah, it's been a couple months since we did 2.
I didn't remember the controls.
I remember the basic one. Hold L1 or R1 to shoot. That's it.
Yeah, me too. It took a little bit to remember how to hover.
I have it ingrained in my head. Like R1, after you press X, it's like hovering, like baby. Like, come on. That's one of my favorite powers. You know that. So
that's one of the best things about Infamous in general. So I remembered some of it brings back a lot of the old powers. You have grenades. You have the Magnum shot you can get after a bit if you unlock it. You get different things, and it only really adds just a swarm power essentially.
Yes,
which I don't really care for.
I thought it was cool. I just wish that it were infinite and you didn't run out of it, because there's literally one mission where you're supposed to be tailing this big ass vampire thing, and he keeps like running away. And the game keeps telling you use your swarm power to chase him, but then you run out of the swarm juice.
Yeah, so you have to like. And I was up in the roofs because I'm trying to chase them. And
that's
you have to go down the street, start eating people, and then fly through the streets.
Yeah,
which is also the controls are inverted with the swarm power, which I had a really hard time with. Probably could have fixed it, but I didn't care.
Huh.
It was for me.
I don't remember. Maybe I uninverted them. I don't know.
It could have been somebody else played. Well, no one else played. Yeah, I just didn't uninvert it like I probably should have. I just didn't bother. I was like, this is only a 2-hour experience. I don't really care about the swarm power. I just want to get this done, type of thing. Which again, not the way I like to approach games, but it was just kind of like my mood with it.
Yeah, I'm way more my mood of like with all the shit that I've been going through.
I had other games I wanted to play more that have 358 in the title.
I'm gonna do this for you, but only for you, Mike.
I mean, one thing, like, okay, so the story of this game is that you have Zeke is in a bar talking to some sexy woman, and he starts weaving a tale about how Cole almost became a vampire.
He became a vampire.
Yeah, became a vampire on Pyre Night and killed people. And again, the whole idea that the story's not supposed to be true because it's Zeke and he's an idiot.
Because he's an unreliable narrator, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, not as unreliable as the Joker in The Killing Joke, but probably not far off.
No.
Zeke is an idiot. I don't like Zeke in the first place. And this game is also weird after beating Infamous 2, because spoiler for Infamous 2, Cole's not around.
Yeah, it's a what if. It's like a Marvel's what if of like, let's just take this thing that did not actually happen before the events of the end of Infamous 2 and all that. You don't like Zeke?
No, not at all.
I hated him in Infamous 1, but I thought that he had a good redemption arc in Infamous 2. Like, he's still an idiot. He's still a full-on idiot that, but I don't know. I grew to like him a lot, in Infamous 2, especially spoilers when you are forced to basically murder the man in the bad ending of Infamous 2. Like that. I when I had to do that for the trophy, that controller sat there for a while. So
I get that. It's also, there's no morality in this game. It's just, you're just a vampire, so you're eating people because you have to.
Yeah, that would have been interesting to have a morality system of like, ooh, should I really be biting these people? But no, it's a very short game, so whatever. Like they were like, we're not putting this shit on it.
Oh, and your trophy self would be upset with me about this. When I was playing through the game, I was like, okay, I'm gonna maybe get that trophy for biting 100 people, and I got to 97. And I ended up in the final mission. And I was like, well, I'll just wait. I'm sure there'll be people down there. There weren't. Spoiler alert. And I was like, do I care enough to load the game up and eat? I'm like, nope, I do not. Turn the game off and never play it again.
But once you finish the mission, they throw you back to the end, to before the mission. You could have.
It didn't though yet. Well, I turned it off right too fast. I was like, I don't care. I'm done. Well, if I'd have to load it back up and bite, I'm like, at one time, Achievement Horror Mike would have done that. I don't give a shit about trophies or achievements or anything like that stuff anymore. I'm like, I'm good.
I didn't even get to like 50, so I didn't bother. And it doesn't have a platinum, so whatever.
If it had a platinum, you might have.
Maybe it is a very short game and it's very easy, but nah. I'm retired, Mike. Quote unquote retired.
No, hey, plus there's no platinum, so I don't blame you one bit. I mean, there's nothing to.
Yeah, whatever.
I know I played a couple games just for platinum once. More achievements, but I mean, this game it has little moments of it. I guess it also had, which I didn't play because I never logged online. It has like user.
Yeah, the user-generated content,
yes.
The UGC. Yeah, Infamous 2 had that too as well. So
because I have to put my password in to sign in, and I don't know what the password is, and I don't care enough to reset it to figure it out.
Nah, it's not worth it.
No, I mean, I wasn't. I'm like
at this point, it's not worth it.
No, I didn't even know I was missing it until I was watching a review video of this game after I beat it last night. And they're like, oh, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like, I didn't see these terrible, ugly-ass cutscenes.
Yeah, it's because it was that weird time where Little Big Planet was still a thing. So Sony was like trying to push more of that into other games like this for some weird reason. I don't know.
I still never played it.
I've played Little Big Planet. I don't know. It's not for me. Like
I don't like creating things, and I don't like playing other people's creative stuff.
It's same. Like,
so, I mean, this game is pretty simple-ish, and what like you're up to. Like the whole idea is just you only have a few missions. I mean, you end up pretty quickly having like your whole quest be to get this holy weapon that you can use to kill Bloody Mary, which is the name of the vampire.
Yes, Bloody Mary is the one that bites Cole.
Yeah. After
powers and whatever.
A vampire tricks him in the tunnels, and they grab him and then use his blood to resurrect her.
Exactly. Yes.
Which was cool in the comic cutscene. I do like the comic book style cutscenes.
The comic book has. Yeah, those are always the best parts of the Infamous games. The not so great things about this game is how god awful it looks with the grimy, goddamn gritty filter on.
Really dark. I had a hard. So I was playing this on like a 40-inch TV. It's probably 10 years old, so nothing great. But it's, HD TV, and I had just one lamp on, and it was hard to see.
it was. I have a 42-inch, and it's like 3 years old at this point, and it was still like very dark, and just I hate this. Like I've always hated like this generation. Like the PS3, the art style that they always went to with like the grays and browns and the greens and shit. Like I hate that. Like I've always loved like more colorful and popping games for that reason. And this one was just so egregious to me. Like I just wanted to finish this shit just because I didn't want to look at it anymore.
No, that's fair. I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't only me who had that problem. You know, I mean, in mostly for this game, you just fight a few different type of vampires. You have vampire chicks with machine guns. You have vampire guys with crossbows. You have like zombie type people, and then you have big ass vampires, which are like mini bosses.
Yeah, there was another like what is that true like what's the name of that weapon, like the crow, the star thing that they throw and it kind of comes back to them and shit.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think I paid a lot of attention.
I did a little bit.
I was hitting them a lot. Like also, like thing with these, since they're vampires, you have to stake them. So you
have to stake them to actually like kill them.
Yeah.
Now that trophy I did actually get, the one for getting
that I already had apparently.
Okay. I mean, you do gotta stake a lot of vampires, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. You just do get playing through the game. I mean, that's all how you unlock some of your abilities too. So that's one reason I was doing it, because I wanted to have more abilities so I could do more of the stuff that might come up. I mean, everything is kind of the same as Infamous 2. The abilities don't... I mean, they're a little bit different. Like, the grenades supposedly splash blood on them, which does, like, over time damage. Or no, makes them wet, so then if you shoot them electrical, they take more damage. But...
So, yeah, I didn't notice that.
I didn't either. I only know because some guy on the internet told me.
Oh, okay. And you believed him?
I did. I don't know if it's true, and I'm not going to load the game up and find out or care enough. So, because now that I've beaten this game twice, I will probably never load this game up again.
Yeah. Never. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever like play this again. Like, I don't know. I'm glad it exists because it was a neat idea and concept. Like, we don't have much vampire games, anyways. Like, aside from Vampire the Masquerade and Vampire. And this,
hey, don't forget Vampire Reign for Xbox 360 and PS3. Oh.
I have no idea what the hell that is.
It's a very, very, very bad stealth game where you get where vampires are like impossible to kill. It's a really bad game. I have it for 360. Never played it, but I own it.
Okay,
yeah, notoriously bad.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Oh, and Vampire Survivors, I guess.
That's not really vampire, but yes, that's part of the name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, you don't get a lot of stuff like that. I mean, this is a game where you get to be a badass, and you do get a cool ability where you can hold down. I think it was R2, where then you can go like vampire vision. You can like see people that are walking by. You can tell which ones have a heart and are real people, and which ones are fake people that are vampires that then you can stake.
Yeah,
that was cool. That I enjoy once I figured out how it worked. I would just love going around just staking the vampires. I just love watching them just start to like turn into a vampire and just die. It was so cool.
Yes,
and I wanted the ability for it. You get to that, so you unlock to make them ability. There's also like arrows that you can see, you can follow, and then they'll lead to some sign. You listen to something that Mary tells you, but I didn't care.
Yeah, Mary's teachings. I only did the tutorial one. I didn't bother with that. Like, whatever. I don't like looking at your game, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I was like when I was playing this last night, like I'm not really enjoying myself. Like I like Infamous, like. Mm-hmm. I have been playing a lot of open world games lately. Like I've been playing Assassin's Creed and stuff, and Assassin's Creed, and I love that series. I just got done playing 2, so not like anything recent. But like this stuff was, I do got to say the parkour in this game is still really good. Like the way Cole climbs is nice. Mm-hmm. It's a little too fast in my opinion compared to I think how 1 was, but I haven't played 1 in it's been like 3 years since we did it, or 4 even.
Yeah,
it's been a while, but I don't remember much about it, but I know Infamous 2, the parkour is like way, like you can just climb anything.
Yeah, especially because there's the electric thingies that just launch you up to the top of the bill. Well,
I didn't see those in this one.
There were some of them. I encountered some of that. The thing is that you barely use any of it because you're using the vampire swarm.
I didn't use the vampire swarm. I just ran a lot.
Huh. Okay.
I ran a lot.
I used... And I ran so far.
I mean, literally, that's what I did. I'd go down to the street, and just run on the street towards whatever my location was. That's another reason why like the traversal was not fun for me in this game.
I used the swarm a lot. Just swarm, bite, swarm, bite.
I didn't like the way it worked. I had problems with the control because I would keep like run into the floor, run into somebody because I couldn't control it. So I just didn't like it.
That inversion, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't just switch the damn controls. Like, I'm not that stupid. Like, come on, I don't understand why I'm like, I'm just going to play like this and be upset. Like, it was one of those weird situations where I just didn't fix the problem.
Yes, that is.
And I can't really tell you why. So, yeah. It was just weird. I don't know, but it really bothered me. I mean, swarming to an enemy and killing them instantly was cool. I used it a lot on the back girls, the vampires that were female had guns.
Mm-hmm.
You also have blood jars you can break, which give you more blood meter, I guess, or something, which means you can be vampire longer or swarm longer. But I didn't mess with it.
Yeah, I destroyed a couple ones that I found, but whatever.
There weren't a lot of bosses really, or any.
There weren't, except for quote unquote Bloody Mary. And
yeah, it wasn't even really much of a fight because you just like.
You know what that was? That was Nasty Nork from Spiral 1. Just chasing her around and just like torching her once or twice and then just.
That was such a horrible boss fight back in the day when I did that Nasty Nork for this podcast. Like, I had such a hard time trying to catch him.
Yeah.
Fat bastard.
Yeah.
That fat bastard could run, by the way. But yeah, no, Bloody Mary was really annoying to chase after. And then that horde mode scene when you're in the tunnels was really annoying too.
It was
like that was a long part.
It was just way too long. That that whole thing was just way too long, man. I don't know. I was ready for it to be done with in like 5 minutes, and it just kept going.
Yeah, and I don't know why it kept going. They're like, well, this game's not long enough, so we gotta do something, guys.
It definitely felt like they were just like padding.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing almost felt like it just. I don't want to really say unnecessary because it felt unnecessary, but again, of course it's unnecessary. It's a video game, but like, that's all. It's just, I don't know. I mean, for $10, like if you would have bought this the day it came out around that time, I mean, I'm sure it was cool. Like you get more Infamous 2.
Yeah.
And Infamous 2 is still cool. It was hard to go back to for me in 2023. Like I don't really remember what we said about Infamous 2 either, but I feel like I didn't have the best time with Infamous 2 also.
I think we were kind of.
Can you cover in this game? Or two?
I think so. I never covered, so
I didn't know how, and I didn't remember, and there was no.
I'm pretty sure it was circle.
Okay, I didn't really bother that hard to be fair.
So
I was just like, I don't remember how to. Oh well, and I just I'll just kill things.
Like it doesn't matter. Like using the dodge still doesn't almost do anything because they can still like hit you whenever you use the stupid dodge. So. Whatever. I didn't die. I just ran. When my health would get in trouble, I just run and try to find electricity to heal fast. Yeah, same. Like that's the way to do it.
I did die a few times.
Yeah, same.
I do like when you do get the Holy Cross weapon, like it burns him to pick it up. Like I thought that was cool because he's a vampire at this time.
Yeah, and he has to use the electricity to like actually pick it up because.
Oh, that's how he did it.
Yeah, because it doesn't damage him. That's
cool. Okay. I mean, and again, it's cool that it replaces the conduit weapon that he used in Infamous 2. Now you have a cross. It makes sense. You're fighting vampires. That was cool.
And did you notice that once you had the cross in the final mission, when you used it against enemies, they would like go down in one hit?
That was great.
Yeah.
Because the holy weapon. I liked that. I thought that was a cool touch. I kind of I liked some of the story of Bloody Mary that this vampire finds her when she's dying in the 1800s and turns her into a vampire because she was so beautiful. And some of that stuff was kind of cool, to be honest.
Yeah, there were interesting things in it. It's just,
they were very short. I mean, the game is it's so short and you don't really get into a point where you care enough about anything, I felt.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also vampire gangs you can go around and destroy.
Yeah,
there's an achievement for that. I didn't do it. I did a few. I'm like,
I did a few, but then I was like, whatever.
Yeah, because sometimes whenever I play a game for the show, especially one that's very short, I try to make sure I experience a little bit of everything so I can review it better and come back with the right experience to tell people about. And I was kind of I was doing it some, and I'm like, I don't care about trophies. And when I saw there was no upgrade, I'm like, I don't. Because I was like, why don't you give me something for doing this?
Yeah.
I mean. It didn't feel like there was enough upgrades either. Like Infamous 2, I felt. Well, I mean, a longer game, and you already had a full, electric bar event pretty much in this game. So
yeah, I don't know. It's
a vampire thing.
It's a vampire thing.
I mean, it was.
We need a good good actual vampire game.
Oh, did you see? There's a sign. This made me laugh. I'm sure it would make you upset, but there's a sign that said Sly Cooper Zombie. And I'm like, you guys aren't wrong, guys. He pretty much is dead at this point. Like, you aren't wrong.
God. I hate it.
I don't know. I mean, I know you want another Sly Cooper. I don't really care enough. But I'm also not. I didn't grow up with Sly.
I want another Sly Cooper because they left the fourth game at a goddamn cliffhanger.
Oh, well, good luck with that one.
Like, god damn it!
Every so often I think about the third one. I'm like, I should play this one. With Emanuel so we can finish this trilogy. And I'm like,
people love the third one. Like, the people say that's their favorite one. So again, mine is 2 personally for reasons, but 3's considered like the best one out of all.
2 was amazing. I can say that from what I remember. 2 was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I wish that they ported these games. I don't understand why.
Infamous. No, Sly and Infamous both should really be ported. Like this, because this would have been something fun that, like, had you had this available, like, in a collection, I could see people randomly come Halloween time booting this up, running through it in an hour, and be like, hey, this was fun to play. But the fact that it's locked to the PS3, except for the PS Plus thing, but a lot of people don't have good internet.
No,
I mean, I have decent internet. and I'm assuming it would have given me trouble.
Maybe.
It just.
I have decent internet, and it gave me trouble sometimes.
Streaming is not. I don't think streaming for games is there yet, except for only for some people. Very few people. Well, small.
The thing is that it's you got to remember that at least with the Sony thing is because Japan is their primary market, and Japan is already like super connected to the internet at most. Central cities and stuff like that. It is a big thing there. Not so much the rest of the world is the problem.
Yeah, and America is still sometimes struggling with trying to better itself or take us back to the 40s. So we struggle with that too.
Yeah.
Women don't have no rights where we come from.
Oh, God.
So you have that too.
Why are you sounding like Seek now? Seek, get it out.
I just saw Barbie a couple nights ago, and it made me think of like, people that get upset about this movie. I get it. You're like, I want my women to have no rights. That's what you want.
I haven't seen it.
It's actually really good and really funny. So
I wanted to see it. We ended up watching Oppenheimer. Anyways, that's not what we're here for.
Enough with my dumb voice, but I had to go. That's what I kept thinking of. But no, I mean, I can get that. That makes more sense why Sony did it. I just don't like that idea because it's like, if you already have it streamable, can't you have a way for people to buy it? Like Barry would have came on this episode. Barry, who's on Infamous 2 and been on the show many times. Barry Carenza, premium edition of games guy. And he's like, he didn't have this and you can't buy it. I mean, one, there's no physical, which he's a physical guy, but even then, like, this really should just, if you can have it on the streaming, I don't know enough about video games to speak to this, educationally, but can't you have some way for people to purchase it?
You'd think, but
I mean, you can't. I'm assuming it can't be that difficult. It's already playing on the system.
Again, it's because of the I know
the PS3
architecture. Yeah.
Architecture is fucking awful.
Yeah,
then again, I can also play a PS3 game on my laptop right now. It won't be good because my laptop's not powerful enough. But
yeah, I thought about maybe trying to find an emulation of the game, but I was like, whatever. I
mean, you already paid for the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's not a big deal. Then not like I'm letting you spend more money on a case of me, but
no, but remember that I used the RPCS3 for Infamous 2 because I didn't want to have to deal with this for Infamous 2. But
that makes sense. My computer couldn't run it. It lagged, so I didn't mess with it.
Again, I have a 3080 Ti, and even that sometimes isn't powerful enough for some of these goddamn games.
Infamous 2 is one of the more powerful PS3 games in general.
Yes.
So it's because I think when does PS4 come out?
PS4 came out in 2014 or 15.
Okay, so this isn't that close to the end, but this kind of is that whole thing. I mean, also, this only came out a few months after Infamous 2 also, so you'd still be in that whole...
When did The Last of Us
I want more game.
Because Last of Us was the last PS3, like the last big PS3 game.
Yeah. Probably the last PS3 game was Just Dance something, I'm assuming. But yeah.
Around that time. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, I was just, because sometimes I like thinking about that. Yeah, I don't understand. I think a lot of it is just Sony doesn't really give a shit about Infamous anymore at all. Like, maybe Second Son didn't sell super well when that came out for PS4.
Second Son was a either was a launch title or close to launch title.
Oh, is that early?
Yes. Yeah, they were working on that for it to be a launch title.
I'm looking. We're doing it later this year or early next year. I don't remember what the calendar says, but I'm looking forward to that game a lot.
We'll see.
Well, I just want to finish all the series too.
We'll see. I have my problems with that game, but I haven't played it since 2016 when I got on a PS4. So
I bought two. I own two copies of it now because I forgot I had it and bought another copy at some point for $5. So I'm not too upset, but I'm like, I should probably play this game before I buy it a third time.
Yes, you should.
So
Again, it's not a bad game. Like, far from it. Much better than Festival of Blood. But I don't know. I miss my boy Cole.
I think that's also what's hard for this now because after I remember I liked this a lot more when I played it before Infamous 2 where I didn't know Cole's fate, and now that I know Cole's fate and that this is just some what if story, I didn't like it as much. So I'm like, this is the last thing I get with this character, which I did enjoy. I enjoyed the character in 1 and 2, and I'm like, and you just kill him off. Like he gets a vampire thing to go out on, and then in the main game he's just dead.
Yeah, and then we have that typical ending of where when Zeke was talking to the girl or whatever, and then Cole shows up and then she bails Zeke for Cole, and then it does the typical thing of she turns around and she actually has fangs, it was real, our vampires are real or whatever. And
so I have an opinion on this. I'm assuming that it's not saying that vampires are real. I mean, that could be what they're insinuating, or it could just be the simple fact that it's a girl that it's Halloween and she had fangs on.
Maybe.
I could see it.
Could be.
I mean, I can see women doing that. What? I could.
Could also be that Zeke was reading that comic way too much. And I don't know.
That's what it was a comic. I was almost thinking a porno at first, the way he was talking.
I know, right? I thought the same thing. Because you
more
expect
fitting for
that
Zeke,
out of Zeke.
It's just. I think also it's just a sad thing to kind of go out on because it's the end of it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of. Oh, this is the fastest selling PlayStation 3 downloadable game at the time.
Wow.
The record was later surpassed by Journey.
Good. A better game.
It was just so. It's just also so short. I mean, part of it was nice that it was short because then I could beat it in one night, so I could get on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, I almost like I would have liked a little bit more.
I know that we're harping on it a lot. This is not the worst game or whatever.
No, not at all. I'm not even gonna like.
It's just a very 7 out of 10. It's you can play it and then you can just scrub it up to the side. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, we talked. Like I said on here, I'm glad that it exists.
Yeah,
it just didn't do anything for me. It was just there, and I played it. It was cool, whatever. I'm glad I am talking about it because we were talking about covering this 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, when we started doing the first one.
Yeah, and then things happened, so we never got around to it. So I'm still kind of one of those things where I always like finishing projects that I say I'm going to do, even if it takes me a couple of years. I'm always happy to check, project done. And again, I wanted to replay it. I wanted to re-experience it and see what my opinion would be in 2023.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it wasn't great. I mean, there were cool parts. I did like the ending where you then get out of the tunnel and Bloody Mary blows up with the white phosphorus, and that was kind of cool. Yeah. Even though it didn't make sense, but
though it took 20 fucking hours in this 2-hour game.
That's what it felt like was Zeke and that whole part in the water. It was too long. It was God, come on, people. Was that a thing though in 2011 where games still doing stuff like that where they would just do things for just too long?
Yes. Way too much.
Because I'm noticing, when I go back and play old games sometime for the show, I'll do boss fights in a game and be like, this boss fight does not need to go this long.
Yeah, I totally feel you.
It happens sometimes. And I'm just you don't need to give the boss this much health or I have to do it perfectly for this long to beat it. I
actually want to say that it still happens in some games nowadays, too.
I can't speak because I don't play new games.
I'm trying to remember what game I played not that long ago that had a boss battle that just went on for way too long and it kind of soured me. But going back to that final boss battle, because the electric damage almost does nothing to the zombies to the vampires. Sorry,
and they're essentially zombies because they're not really vampires. They're just infected.
They're
humans.
ghouls. Technically, they're
ghouls. Yes, that's correct.
That's the terminology. But yeah, since the electricity wasn't doing that much damage, and I was just like hitting them with the goddamn cross. I don't know. I kind of felt like it was Dead Rising, Dead Rising. Yeah, the one with camera guy, Frank West, was it? Like, I don't know. I felt like I was just like mowing through a whole bunch of zombies, like, but it was like vampires in that final mission. Just hit him, just constantly hitting him in that goddamn tunnel.
Yeah, it was just too long, and the game itself is not long, and like there's one part you gotta go, like you were saying, you gotta go hunt that firstborn, and it was just like meh.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game ends, like you were saying with Zeke, and then you just uninstall it, or actually don't uninstall it because you might never be able to re-download it and just turn it off and never play again.
I close it and I hit remove from home.
Yours is a little different. Yours was streaming.
Exactly.
Mine, I will just sit on there until I someday. I don't even use PS3 very often. It's only when I'm forced to play a game that I can't play on PC.
I don't even know if my PS3 turns on at this point anymore.
I can say mine does. That's how I played Infamous 2. That's how I'm going to play Undead Nightmare. That's how I played Red Dead Redemption. Like, I make use of it sometimes for this podcast. Mm-hmm. The games that aren't on PC.
Exactly.
That I can't emulate, because I can emulate PS2 and, before, but I don't feel comfortable with 360 PS3 yet.
It's way too difficult. Like, the same thing happens with the Xbox emulators. Like, it takes a lot.
Yeah, that's my plan when I buy another computer in the next couple of years, that I'll then get one good enough to run those. That's my plan. All right, any other things you want to say about Infamous Festival Blood before we go to Shelf Stacker Box?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to go first. I'm going to put this in the stack. It's not bad. It's not great. I had fun, I think. I played it. I mean, I don't know. It exists.
It definitely exists. It is definitely one of the games in existence.
I had some moments. I did enjoy shooting vampires with electricity. Like, it was fine. So I'm just gonna go on the stack. It's not a bad game. It's better if you have played Infamous 2 and actually remember how to play Infamous 2 when you play this. So there is that. All right, and what about you?
I think I'll just box it. I don't want to play this ever again. I know that it exists, and it will always remain in my memory that it exists. But unfortunately, I just don't. I hated looking at it. That is my biggest gripe.
That was one of my issues too. But I also probably I was tempted to get up and put a chair closer to the TV, and that might have been better.
Nah, I was pretty. I'm always pretty close to the TV, and no, that just it looks so bad. Like I was streaming it with the PlayStation Plus thing, so it doesn't look like great anyways, but I don't know, it just
mine was ugly too, and I was playing this on just downloading on a PS3
on hardware, so I'll just keep my memories of Infamous 1 and 2 and just forget about this.
That's fine. And then we will be doing Infamous Second Son later, so you get
which is a better game than this.
I am really excited to finally play Second Son, because I played First Light once because it was short and quick.
The better game.
But I've never played Second Son yet, so I'm excited to finally play it.
First Light is a better Second Son, in my opinion, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, we're gonna do both, but I'm excited to finally play it and try it, because it means a lot to me. Finally play the series.
Like when I told you earlier that when you asked, and I told you we should do Second Son first because of release order, but also because it's better to end on a high note with First Light.
Okay, I'm fine with that. And we're never getting another Infamous game, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe you'll like it reversed, but I liked First Light more. So
okay, I also have no memory of when I played First Light, so that won't affect anything. It was before the podcast. That's why I swear my life is now, instead of we're not in AD, we're in BP before podcast. Not the Battle of Yavin, it's Games My Mom Found, GMF. We're at almost 5 GMF.
Oh my god.
I swear that's how my life has been. I'm like, I reference it so much.
Oh god, it has been that long. Jesus.
It's getting close. January is 5 years that I've been doing this show.
God damn.
With none of the people who were with me when it started. So.
No, but I was a guest at some point. So
you were a guest pretty early on, but I don't remember what.
The first one was Killer 7.
Okay, so 30 something. That's 30 something.
Yeah, that was like the first time that I showed up for this shit.
And I'm still going strong.
Yes, you are.
Every so often I think about Killer 7 too, but I don't think I'll ever replay that game either.
Man, that's a game that could use a remake.
That's a strange fucking game, man.
It's so fucking weird.
Episode 34.
Okay. So yeah, it was very early on.
Mm-hmm. And September 2nd, 2019. That's when that came out.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a while. All right, and if you enjoyed this episode, there's a bunch of other Infamous episodes. You can go on our Podbean and search everything. You can find Emanuel on YouTube at Commander Lionheart. You will see a link in the show notes for his YouTube channel. Definitely go check him out. And if you want to support the show, we do a Patreon for little dollar. You can vote in our Patreon poll. We have one every month, so you'll go see that. Also have a link to the Discord. Please join that. I have a good link now if you're someone that tried an earlier link when it didn't work. Someone finally told me and I fixed it. So try that link. It should work now. And I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Fear. You can follow her on TikTok. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who started his own podcast, A Gamer Looks at 4. You definitely go check him out. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on Threads. We're on Threads too now. And we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Blah, blah, blah.